Hi there, and welcome back to Easy Peasy English, the podcast where we make learning English feel light, clear, and encouraging. I'm Christ, and I'm really happy to have you here today. Whether you're listening while walking, cooking, commuting, or just relaxing, thank you for choosing to spend this time with me. This podcast is for all the English learners out there who sometimes feel unsure, nervous, or frustrated with their progress. I want to remind you that learning a language isn't just about memorizing grammar rules or passing tests. It's about communication. It's about connection. And most of all, it's about confidence. Now, let me ask you something. Have you ever thought, my English isn't good enough yet? Maybe you've had chances to speak, but you stayed silent. Maybe someone asked you a question in English, and even though you understood them, you froze. Maybe you've studied for years but still feel like a beginner because you don't sound like a native speaker. If that sounds familiar, then today's episode is for you. Because today, I want to say something loud and clear: your English is enough. Right now. As it is. Just use it. You don't need to wait for perfect grammar. You don't need to wait until your accent disappears. You don't need to wait for some future version of yourself that is ready. You are ready now. In this episode, we'll explore what it means to trust your English, even if it's not perfect. We'll talk about how fear holds us back, why real communication is more important than correct grammar, and how using the English you already have can open doors you didn't even realize were waiting for you. So grab your drink, get cozy, and let's dive into this important idea together. Because today, we're not chasing perfection. We're choosing progress. Let's get started. Have you ever been in a situation where someone speaks to you in English, and you understand them, but you don't reply? Not because you didn't know the answer. Not because you couldn't speak. But because a voice in your head said, wait. Your English isn't good enough. What if you say it wrong? That voice? It's more common than you think. I've heard this same story from so many learners around the world. They study hard. They do exercises. They watch videos. They read books. They even speak English in their heads all the time, but when it's time to use English out loud, with real people, they freeze. Why? Because they believe the lie that says, if it's not perfect, don't say anything. This lie is powerful. It makes people stay quiet. It makes them doubt themselves. It turns every small mistake into something scary. But here's what I want you to know today, that voice in your head. It's not the truth. You do not need to sound like a native speaker to be a good communicator. You do not need to know every word in the dictionary to have a real conversation. You do not need to be perfect to be enough. Let me give you an example. I once worked with a learner named Anna. Anna is from Brazil. She's a kind, funny, intelligent woman who loves to travel. She's been learning English for years, watching Netflix, reading English blogs, even listening to this podcast. She understands a lot. But when she had to speak in real life, at the airport, at restaurants, with tourists, she panicked. She would smile politely and say as little as possible. Why? Because she didn't want to make a mistake. One day, she told me, I feel like I have the words in my head, but I'm scared to use them. I'm scared people will think I sound stupid. That broke my heart. Because Anna didn't sound stupid. She sounded human. She sounded like a language learner doing her best. So I told her, Anna, if you wait to speak only when it's perfect, you'll be waiting forever. But if you speak now, with the English you have, you'll start growing. And she did. Little by little. At the cafe, she ordered her coffee in English. At the airport, she asked for directions. She made mistakes, but guess what? No one laughed. No one judged her. In fact, people smiled and helped her. Why? Because real people don't expect perfect English. They just want to understand you, and to be understood. And every time Anna used her English, her confidence grew. Not because her grammar was perfect. Not because she had a perfect accent. But because she showed up. She used what she had. And that's what I want for you, too. I want you to realize that your English, right now, is enough to start. Yes, keep learning. Yes, keep improving. But don't wait for some perfect moment. Because the only way to truly grow is to use what you already have. Let's take a moment and ask a really simple question. What is the purpose of a language? Is it to be perfect? To get every word exactly right? To pass a test? Or is it something much simpler? The real purpose of language is communication. Language exists so that you can share your ideas. Ask for help. Tell someone how you feel. Make a joke. Tell a story. Say, thank you. Say, I'm sorry. Say, I love you. None of these things require perfect English. They just require your voice. But somewhere along the way, many learners get stuck in the idea that grammar matters more than connection. That being correct matters more than being understood. Let's break that myth. Let me tell you about Yusuf. Yusuf is from Turkey. He works in tech and speaks Turkish and a bit of German. When he started learning English, he was obsessed with grammar rules. Every time he made a mistake, he would stop himself and say, wait, was that past perfect? Or should I use the present perfect continuous passive? And in that moment, he would lose the whole conversation. He was trying so hard to get it right that he missed the actual point, the connection. One day, he had to speak with a new colleague from India. Her English wasn't perfect either. But she smiled, spoke naturally, and didn't care about little errors. She focused on expressing her ideas. She asked questions. She laughed. And Yusuf said later, she didn't speak like in the textbook. But I understood everything. She made me feel comfortable. And that was his turning point. He realized that English is not a school subject. It's a bridge. A way to connect people from different countries, backgrounds, and experiences. Think about this, if a traveler from Italy asks you, where train station? Do you correct their grammar? Or do you help them? If someone says, I know understand. You repeat please. Do you think they're bad at English? Or do you repeat kindly? Most people choose kindness. They choose connection. You deserve that same kindness, from others, and from yourself. Stop trying to be the best English speaker in the room. Instead, try to be the one who speaks with heart. Who uses the words they know to make a real connection. Even if it's simple. Even if it's not perfect. Because perfection doesn't make you brave. Practice does. The more you use English to connect, the more you'll feel free. Free from the fear of mistakes. Free from the need to impress. Free to be you, in your own words. So the next time you hesitate before speaking, ask yourself, am I trying to be perfect, or am I trying to connect? Choose connection. Because your English is enough for that. Let's talk about something many learners miss. Real English is not found in a textbook. It's not something you unlock after passing level B2 or C1. It's happening all around you, right now. Every time you order a coffee in English. Every time you comment, "Thank you," on a YouTube video. Every time you message someone online, write a post, or even think in English for a moment. That's real English. And it counts. Let's talk about Sarah from Brazil. She told me, "I never thought I was good at English. I always got bad scores in school. But now, I watch Netflix in English, I read memes in English, and I make friends on Reddit. I didn't realize, I was already using English every day." And guess what? She was improving all the time. Not because she memorized grammar charts. Not because she studied 10 hours a day. But because she was living in English, even in small ways. She stopped measuring her success by test results. She started measuring it by moments of connection. That's the mindset shift that changes everything. Too often, we believe that we're not ready to use English in the real world. We think, "I need to learn more first." But the truth is, you learn more by using English. Imagine trying to learn how to swim, but never touching the water. You read books, you watch videos, you talk to instructors. But you never actually step into the pool. Can you really learn? Of course not. English works the same way. You can study all the rules in the world. But if you never speak, never listen, never write, never try, then English will always feel like something you don't own. Real progress starts the moment you use what you know. Not perfectly. Not with big fancy words. Just simply, naturally. Honestly. Maybe that means, talking to yourself in English while cleaning your room. Writing your daily thoughts in a journal. Sending a voice note to a friend. Commenting, "Nice video," on a tutorial you liked. Reading a menu or instructions in English instead of your native language. These small things. They add up. They build confidence. They train your brain. They remind you, "Hey, I can do this." Don't wait until your English is perfect to use it in real life. Because real life is where the real learning happens. Let's make a promise right now, no more waiting. No more hiding behind grammar books. No more saying, "I'll speak when I'm ready." You are ready. Your English is enough. Just use it. Let's be honest. Sometimes, the biggest reason we don't use our English is because we're busy comparing ourselves to everyone else. You see someone on TikTok speaking fluently. You hear someone in your class using big, fancy words. You read a post online and think, "I could never sound like that." And suddenly, your mouth shuts. Your confidence drops. You think, "Why even try?" But here's the truth, comparison kills progress. Let me say that again, comparison kills progress. When you compare yourself to someone else, you're not seeing the full story. You don't see the mistakes they made. You don't see how many times they failed. You don't know how long they've been learning, or how scared they felt at first. All you see is the final result, what they look or sound like now. That's like watching a movie and thinking you can't act because you're not as good as the star. Or looking at a marathon runner and feeling bad because you can't run 42 kilometers today. It doesn't make sense, right? Because your journey is yours. And you know what? Someone out there is watching you, and thinking, "Wow. I wish I could speak like them." Yes, you. Even if your grammar isn't perfect. Even if your accent is strong. Even if you pause and search for words. You are still ahead of someone who hasn't started yet. And you are still learning. Still growing. Instead of comparing, try this, start celebrating the little things. Did you speak one full sentence today? Great job. Did you answer a question in English without switching languages? That counts. Did you try, even if it felt hard? That's a win. Every time you speak, even with mistakes, you build strength. You become braver. You start becoming the English speaker you want to be. Remember, no one ever got fluent by staying silent. Fluency grows when you use your voice. Even if it shakes a little. So stop comparing. Start speaking. Your English is enough. Let's talk about something important, something many learners get stuck on. You might have a perfect study plan. You might have a beautiful notebook, a YouTube playlist, 5 English learning apps, and a daily reminder on your phone. But here's the question, are you using them? Because the truth is this, progress doesn't live in the plan. It lives in the practice. So many learners think if they just find the right book, the best method, or the perfect schedule, then they'll finally feel ready to start. But all of that planning can become a trap. You're organizing, preparing, researching, but you're not actually practicing. And without practice, there's no real progress. It's like preparing to swim. You can buy the best swimsuit, watch videos about swimming, read books about water safety, but unless you jump into the pool, you'll never learn how to float. English is the same. You don't improve just by having good materials. You improve by using English, every day, in small, simple ways. Watch a short video and repeat what they say. Talk to yourself out loud in the mirror for 2 minutes. Write a simple message to a friend or teacher in English. Record your voice reading something, then listen back. Comment on a YouTube video with a short opinion or question. These are small things, but they're real. They're active. They build your speaking muscles. They make English part of your life, not just part of your plan. Here's a little story. I once met a learner named Anna. She had a notebook full of grammar rules, vocabulary lists, and practice tests. It was beautiful, color-coded, organized, everything. But when I asked her to introduce herself in English, she froze. She said, "I know the words, but I can't say them out loud." And that's when it hit me, she had been studying English for years, but she hadn't been using English. So we made a deal. Every day, for just 1 minute, she had to speak English. Out loud. About anything. The first day, she just said, "My name is Anna. I like coffee." The second day, she added more, "Today is cold. I'm wearing a blue sweater." After a week, she was telling short stories. After a month, she was joining conversation groups. Not because she had more grammar knowledge, but because she practiced. She stopped waiting for the perfect time. She stopped hiding in her study plan. She jumped into the water, and she started to swim. And so can you. You don't need the perfect course or the perfect app. You just need to show up. Open your mouth. Use your English. Even if it's 1 minute a day. That's where the progress lives. That's where your confidence grows. That's where your English becomes real. Now let's talk about something that makes almost every learner nervous, mistakes. You say a sentence, and someone laughs. You try to remember a word, and it doesn't come. You pronounce something, and someone corrects you. Ouch, right? That feeling, the little sting of embarrassment, can make you want to be quiet forever. But here's what I want you to remember, mistakes are not the end. They are the beginning. Let me repeat that, mistakes are not signs of failure. They are signs of growth. Think about how babies learn to walk. They fall 100 times. They bump into chairs. They land on their bottoms. They cry. But what happens after all that falling? They get up. They wobble. They try again. And eventually, they walk. Then they run. And no one says, "Wow, you fell so much, you're terrible at walking." We celebrate it. We say, "Look at you go." Learning English is the same. You will fall. You will forget. You will mix things up. But each mistake is helping you move forward. Let me share a story. There was a student named Luis. He was learning English so he could work at a hotel front desk. His reading was great. His listening was okay. But speaking, he was afraid. He told me, "If I make a mistake with a guest, they'll think I'm stupid." So I asked him, "What do you think when someone speaks your language with mistakes?" He said, "I think they're brave." And there it was. We're so kind to other people, but we forget to be kind to ourselves. So I challenged him, talk to at least one guest a day, even just to say, "Good morning," or "How are you?" He started small. He made mistakes. He forgot words. Sometimes people didn't understand. But guess what? Most people smiled. Some even helped. And little by little, Luis got stronger. Faster. More confident. One day, a guest asked him where the best pizza was in town. He answered with excitement, gave directions, and even joked about pineapple on pizza. The guest said, "Your English is great." Luis told me, "It's not perfect, but I used it." Exactly. He made mistakes, but he also made progress. And that's what you need to remember. When you make a mistake, it means you're using English. It means you're growing. It means you're human. Even native speakers make mistakes. They forget words. They change their sentences midway. They say, and like all the time. So don't expect yourself to speak like a textbook. Speak like a person. A learner. A brave, beautiful work in progress. And if someone corrects you, say thank you. Learn from it. Then keep going. Because the only real mistake is being too afraid to try. So today, make a little mistake. Say something wrong. Forget a word. Then smile, breathe, and try again. Mistakes are not your enemy. They are your teachers. And they mean one thing for sure, you're doing it. You're really doing it. By now, maybe you're starting to see it, you don't need to wait. You don't need a special certificate. You don't need someone to say, "Okay, now your English is good enough." You already have enough to begin. Right now. Just as you are. And here's the truth that most learners forget, you don't need permission to use your English. You don't need to pass a test first. You don't need to finish a book first. You don't need to sound like someone from TV. You already know words. You already have ideas. You already have something to say. So say it. Even if it's slow. Even if it's simple. Even if you make mistakes. You don't need to deserve English. You've already earned it by showing up. Think about how much time, energy, and emotion you've put into this language. You've studied. You've listened. You've tried. You've failed and tried again. That effort. That's enough. I once spoke with a woman named Hannah. She was from Egypt and wanted to study abroad. She told me, I'm waiting until my English is perfect before I apply for scholarships. I asked her, what if you applied with your current English and improved along the way? She looked surprised. She thought she had to be fluent before she could even start. But life doesn't work that way. You don't become confident and then speak. You speak, and then become confident. You don't wait until you're ready. You get ready by doing. Hannah applied. She didn't wait. She used the English she had, not perfect, but powerful. She got accepted. She improved even more while studying. Now, she's doing her master's, in English, and thriving. She told me, I stopped asking for permission. I just started. That's what I want for you. No more waiting. No more saying, maybe next year. No more hiding behind fear. Your English is enough. Just use it. So let's wrap this up with something important. The goal isn't to speak perfect English. The goal is to connect. To say what you feel. To express who you are. To listen, understand, and be understood. That's what language is for. And guess what? You're already doing it. Reading this? You're using English. Thinking in English? You're doing it. Trying to explain yourself, even when it's hard? That's the real skill. So stop thinking about what you lack. Start noticing what you have. Start noticing how far you've come. And if you've made it this far, I want to say thank you. Thank you for listening, reading, showing up. This episode wasn't about grammar or vocabulary. It was about you, your mindset, your effort, your voice. And if you take just one thing away, let it be this: your English is enough. Right now. Today. Not in the future. Not after a test. Not when you sound like someone else. Now. So speak. Use the English you already have. Don't wait for perfect. Just begin. Even reading this was a small act of courage. And I'm proud of you for that. If you enjoyed this episode of Easy Peasy English, come back again next time. We'll keep talking about motivation, confidence, and how to make English part of your real life, with no pressure and no stress. Until then, take care, be kind to yourself, and remember, you don't need permission. You just need to begin. You've got this. See you next time on Easy Peasy English.